October, Chapter 5, continuing. Please, ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Lee continued, if you so choose, feel free to approach now the table and take a sheet and write on it, and write anything you'd like, whatever you feel stands between yourself and your happiness, and don't feel obligated whatsoever to share the contents of your writing, as that is between yourself and the Most High. Some legs amongst the crowd shifted awkwardly toward the little setup as several orange shirts and dresses walked forward and began to surround the writing table to receive the curious. John set a single sheet and pen on the small stand in front of Jesse and the pastor. Take all the time you need, Jesse, Pastor Lee said softly, dipping the mic. Jesse examined the crowd, squinting over the small fire flickering on the table. He could just make out his friend Trevin, clasping one of his arms with the other and watching. Jesse stilled the felt marker over the small square sheet of paper. He then folded it as instructed and passed it to the pastor. Wielding the sword away from Jesse, Pastor Lee pierced the paper with the very tip of the blade until it stuck. Regardless of our past, the Lord has offered to have it, Pastor Lee said. Behold, the baptism by fire. Pastor Lee announced, motioning for Jesse to stand between himself and the mosaic table. He could feel Lee's body begin to block the distant heat of the mother fire some yards behind them both. May I? He confirmed into Jesse's ear, handing off the mic to his assistant, John. Jesse gave a cracked nod. The paper fixed at the end of the blade, Pastor Lee gave Jesse the handle of the sword and caressed the young man's knuckles into his own palm, guiding his arms to pass the sword into the miniature pile of coals. An emergent flame licked Jesse's note fixed at the tip of the blade, and it was instantly devoured, giving off a pretty green hue. Pastor Lee returned to face Jesse and reached to shake his hand before retrieving the sword. So it is. Hosanna, he exclaimed, raising a palm high into the night. Many of the people cheered, some clapped in a show of support. Following the demonstration, the fellowship's prayer team made circuits around the guys in the crowd, inviting them to participate themselves. Jesse's example having been made, more and more of the participants of the labor program funneled into the ranks of those waiting for their own approach to the cute fire. Small folded sheets of the especially combustible parchments kept secure in their hands. A series of church members made it a point to approach Jesse, Pastor Lee having released him back into the fray, and offered their congratulations on having been chosen by the dear leader to receive the sacrament of the fire directly from him. An honor, they exclaimed, few enjoyed. Gabbing faces were filling Jesse's view when he noticed his phone again sounding a text message. He opened it up, a bit relieved for the out, and glanced down to look. It was an image appearing on his phone this time, very dark. The sender was again the unfamiliar phone number 231-985-8752. The live band began to start a tempo as Jesse squinted to try to absorb the pixels of the incoming message. As the band's music swelled, the picture on Jesse's phone finally settled into his mind. It appeared to be an image of a clearing in some woods with multitudes of people around, illuminated by a bonfire. The focus of the shot was an individual appearing to be in conversation with a few others. Jesse shook his head, a little irritated, and then felt a heaviness spread across his chest as he began to realize that he was looking at an image of himself from behind, from dozens of yards away. His head couldn't have whipped around faster toward the grassy opening behind him, which led into the black chasm of the woods. Hey, Jess, Trevin squeaked. Jesse turned back around to see his friend standing in front of him. Are you okay? Trevin asked, his face sunk in concern. Yeah, hold on. Jesse began vigorously texting. What is it? Said Trevin. Another image loaded onto Jesse's screen before he could articulate a reply on the touch keyboard. He tore his head around to look behind him again. Jesse finally held his phone screen up to Trevin's face. The most recent image was nearly the same shot as before, except now including Trevin, currently talking to him, both of their faces slightly aglow from the light of the phone screen. Jesse saw Trevin's eyebrows sink against the blue light. I don't know who the fuck this is, Jesse declared. A young woman's voice caught Jesse and Trevin's attention as someone stepped toward them from nowhere. Hey. The young lady stood there resting a tablet device on one hip. Her wavy hair drooped along her shoulders with shades of bleach here and there, and a key lanyard dangled over her chest. Large, round lenses, barely held up by her small, pierced nose, exchanged between the two guys. She offered an inverted lip and a nod. Hi, Trevin replied. Oh, shit, I'm sorry. I'm like super awkward and have no social skills, and I'm probably on the spectrum. Anyway, my name's Valerie, she stumbled. Just call me Val. She rubbed her arm. Oh, hi, Jesse said. Yeah, so I'm a student at PRCC. We're doing like a project in my class on like religious institutions. So I wound up here. Val leaned in a bit, shielding her mouth. Or cults, she giggled. That's cool, Trevin interjected. Okay, so I don't know anybody here. Val threw up her hand, accidentally striking her own lanyard. And this guy keeps sort of bugging me and following me around. So I thought I'd pretend to know you guys if you don't mind. Jesse's attention went over Val's shoulder, and he immediately spotted a guy in khakis pacing nearby, occasionally glancing up at the group of them, visibly pretending to seem occupied. What'd he say? Asked Trevin. Oh yeah, I don't know. He keeps talking to me about Jesus-y things, and which is cool, don't get me wrong. But then he started acting weird and offering me drinks and stuff, and yeah, it's freaking annoying, and I made it pretty clear I'm not interested in listening to him, so... Trevin rolled his eyes, sighing. I know, right? He keeps going on about if I know the importance of marriage and family and the role of mothers and having lots of kids in the Gospels and some bullshit. Val whipped her head around back and forth, tucking some hair behind one ear. It's just got that ick, you know, and he smells really bad, so. Oh my fucking god, really? Gross. What the fuck? Trevin giggled. I'm like, my guy, you, talking about girls or females should look forward to just having lots of kids and all that. I was hoping I could just pretend I know other guys so he leaves me the fuck alone, to be honest. Val cleared her throat. That's fucked, remarked Jesse, letting his phone bounce in his hand. Yeah, that's cringe as fuck. Hey, Jess. Trevin swiped his friend across the arm. You should tell T-Bone to pretend to be your boyfriend. Oh my god, no, laughed Jesse. T-Bone? Said Val. Bro, do it, Trevin insisted. He's one of my buddies. Big guy. Jesse answered Valerie, sort of bowing his arms out to resemble a gorilla. It didn't take much time for Troy to organically find his way back to his friends after making his rounds competing to be the most carelessly social of everyone present. Troy wasn't typically someone you'd have to summon. He was kind of everywhere, wherever he was, and like a shark, seemed to be able to smell blood in the water whenever anything remotely exciting or stirring came up. A.T., Jesse shot. Speak of the actual devil, said Trevin, resting a finger over his lips. Troy shuffled his way to his friend, mildly sweating for some reason. He glanced at Val and shot up his chin. Valerie put up a hand toward Troy. "Sup, bud?" Troy examined Jesse. "Your new lady friend. Nice," he said, catching his breath. "Nah," laughed Jesse. "This is Val. She, has some creeper, if you catch my drift. We were kind of wondering if you could, you know." "Oh, shit." Trans Troy scanned Valerie. "Like, give him the what for?" "The fuck what?" Jesse grinned. "Where homeboy at?" Troy whipped his head around. "Really, it's fine. I mean, not really, but," Valerie said. No, 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 on God. What? You want me to pretend we're like," Troy slurred. "Where Fancy Pants at? Show me. Where he at?" "I'm so sorry, Jess." Trevin buried his head in his hand. "Yep, there he goes," Jesse said, Troy having taken but 2 seconds to spot the creeper. The three of them watched as Troy purposely made a slow thug pace, making a point to adjust himself along the way toward creepy khaki pants in the distance, who was still lurking back and forth, clearly hawking Valerie. Troy made his infamous head cock and nose swipe gesture Jesse had come to recognize as much like the fighting position a bull takes with its hooves. The view of khaki pants, who was taking slight steps in the opposite direction, was swallowed gradually by Troy's towering shoulders. Yes, this is a real person," Troy observed as they all turned, watching, narrating the scene for the audience. "Oh my God," Valerie gasped, raising her hand over her mouth. "What's he gonna do?" Khaki Pants jumped, spotting the incoming boulder of a person, and conveniently glided away, pretending to funnel into another group of folks' laughter as they all looked on. "Hey," Jesse announced, "where'd Lint go?" "Who? Lint?" Valerie giggled. "Hold up." Jesse unlocked his phone. He began examining the strange picture he'd received once again. "Oh, there he is," Trevin said, pointing behind Jesse into the dim field of tall grass. Lint's figure came toward the group, stepping across the foliage which decorated the opening just before the dark mouth of the woods, his face lit up by his phone. Jesse turned to face him. "Yo, what the hell are you doing?" "Huh?" Lint looked up. Val braced her arms one on top of the other, quietly examining the hooded friend. Lint's eyes bounced between Trevin and Jesse until he finally caught sight of Val. "Sup?" he offered. "Hey," Valerie squeaked. "What were you doing in the woods, Lint?" Jesse chuckled. Taking a piss? I don't know." "They have bathrooms here," said Jesse. "Oh, no shit." "Yeah, did you send me these?" Jesse pressed, showing his phone to Lint's face. "What the fuck? No." Jesse brought his phone back when Lint stopped him. "Hold up. Wait, let me see those again," he said. "What is it?" Val asked. The guys looked up at once. Shrugged Jesse. "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Never mind," said Val, putting her palm up. No, it ain't like that," Jesse burst. "Like what?" said Lint. Val laughed out loud. "No, like, yeah, I know." "Know what?" Lint smirked toward her. "Just," spat Val. "Yeah, no," Jesse chuckled. "Not like, I mean, it's just some, nothing to do with pissing." They all shared icy pause. "I don't know what's happening right now." Lint looked around. "I mean, it's cool, between friends, I guess," Val assured. Lint finally exclaimed, "Bruh, that's fucked. I was just over there. That's like the shot from my spot. Who sent them?" "Some fucking unknown number," Jesse said. He then looked up at Val and could see curiosity weighing on her shoulders. These pictures were sent to my phone. Jesse shook his head. They're just kind of weird. I wasn't sure who the number was. Ah, Val nodded. See? Valerie dove her head closer to Jesse's phone screen to see the images, adjusting her specs. Her mouth dropped. What is it? Lynn asked. Val untucked her tablet device from underneath her arm. She flipped open her screen and turned it to the other guys. This is so fucking weird, but something else is off in your picture, dude. Her fingers delicately tapped her screen. There was an image thrust across her tablet of the fire pit from some time earlier during the kickoff, and of the giant crocodile wood carving, except the crocodile was facing out from the entry gates. I snapped this picture earlier when we first got here, Val explained to the guys. They all turned to find the giant animal facing out toward the entryway now, glaring down at the fire from nearer the ring of the woodland, not the gateway where the thing had been before. That giant crocodile thing moved 180 degrees, Valerie added. Wait, Lint erratically turned his head back and forth, so the pull strings of his hoodie bounced. What the fuck? I didn't even notice that thing. That's crazy. Valerie continued. In those pictures on your phone, it's still at the gates, she observed. And now the thing's at the tree line. Maybe there's two of them? Trevin gave a hollow suggestion. How the... Lint kept oscillating between the outer ring of woods where the carving now sat and the steel gate some dozens of yards in the opposite direction, being without the sculpture suddenly. Wait a sec, but that'd mean there's two of those things. I only see one over there. Bro, Jesse slapped Trevin's arm softly. Didn't you point that thing out to me earlier, though? I mean, yeah, but that's besides the major creepy part of someone taking pictures of us from inside the fucking woods, Jess. Man, there's some goofy shit going on around here, Jesse sighed. Well, when were they sent to you? Val asked. Jesse simply held up his phone to her again. Can you see me? She whispered to herself, reading the text from before. Dude, that was like 5 minutes ago. So some dude's just crouching in the woods snapping pictures of us over there? Said Jesse. Lint, quit fucking around with us, would ya? Listen, man, I swear I didn't do shit, bro. I was just over there taking a piss. I swear to God. Lint defended himself. Call it, Trevin suddenly blurted. What? Said Jesse. Call the number. Val nodded in agreement. Jesse hit dial on the phone number that sent the images. He put it on speaker, propping the phone up in the air for everyone to listen. It rang 3 times, and someone picked up with a lot of background chatter. Yo, my boy, what's new? Is that Troy? Jesse said. Hello? T. What? T. Who the fuck is this? It's Jess, you dumb fuck. The other end fumbled around a bit. Jesse started going in the direction they'd seen Troy last, up into the major part of the crowd while the others trailed behind. All 4 of them soon found him. Troy was stumbling around making jokes to a few amused onlookers blustering about. Jesse pressed his hand into one of his shoulders as he approached. Hey, T, he shouted. Why are you sending me pictures from the woods, man? Fucking what? To Jesse, his eyes seemed to bob up and down wildly. He held the phone up toward Troy's face, who only sparingly glanced down to view it, batting away hollering from all around him. We're trying to figure out who this is, and you answered, Jesse persisted. Troy swiveled his head to either side and then launched his arm over Jesse's shoulders, sweeping him some distance from the immediate talking faces around. Bro, shh. He clambered into his jean jackets, retrieving a phone, and then holding a finger up to his lips. This is my burner, bro. What? Shh. This is my burner, I said. I can't be just getting random people calling it, okay? Yeah, but nothing, okay? T, hey, look at me a second. Jesse commanded, trying to catch Troy's eyes. Troy hung on his friend, almost cathartic. What are you on, T? Troy blinked repeatedly before launching up into laughter. I've got motherfucking sunshine on my shoulders, he sang, before wrestling himself off of Jesse. Pretty soon a couple of churchgoers swirled around the two friends. They were the sundress girls, otherwise known as the sisters, probably on account of their almost eerily similar appearance and overall demeanor, whom Jesse and Troy had both met in the lobby during the service from before. We just want to say how excited we are to have you with us at the fellowship, they squeaked in sync. Jesse's jaw hung across his face, listening to the young ladies appearing absolutely aloof to his concern, holding Troy by the shoulder, nearly propping him up. Hosanna, Troy blubbered, stumbling forward. There's nothing like experiencing the Holy Spirit and the Most High God, is there? The sisters exclaimed. The kickoff bonfire drew to a close, and the crowd dwindled. Retreating to their respective lodging places, some of the newcomers were escorted by church staff receiving questions. Others headed in varying directions, basically receiving a night tour of the church grounds led by officials. Amongst the last group to leave, Jesse, Lynn, and Trevin figured their friend Troy must have been swept up, having never returned to their cabin that night. There was a strict curfew laid out in the introductory packet for the work season ahead, and the exception, kickoff night, was over. Every night, from now on, when everyone was to be shut in, an intercom system, which had been installed in all the men's cabins, including multiple facilities across the tabernacle's vast property, would announce a reading from the scripture, conducted by Pastor Lee himself at 10 p.m. sharp. The pastor's steady, capturing tone would tug on the eyelids of the crews as they would doze off, eventually drowning out whichever shenanigans went on camp-wide inside lodging. Every few squares of the grid, which made up the men's lodging area, where there were smaller kind of guard shacks dotting the property, what the fellowship called the Watchers, fairly ominously, whose dimmed amber lights could be seen alive throughout the night, and attended to loyally by one staff or another apiece, just standing or sitting inside the little quarters, not bigger than an outhouse and not much different looking either. The church cited safety rather than surveillance as their license to be so present.